5 years, a penthouse, a ring the size of a glacier, all for a contract. My marriage to Julian Carlisle wasn't about love, it was about optics. He needed a wife for business credibility. I needed his money to save my family. 5 years of and pretending. 5 years of separate bedrooms and joint tax returns. 5 years, then free demand $5 million. The day after our anniversary, I went to the courthouse just to get a copy of our marriage certificate, a souvenir of my strange, luxurious prison sentence. The clerk tapped at her computer, frowned. No record exists. I laughed. Check again, Julian Carlisle. 5 years ago. More typing. MAM. If it's not in the system, it was never filed. You were never legally married. The air left the room. The diamond on my hand felt suddenly cheap, heavy. 5 years of my life, built on a piece of paper that didn't exist. I walked out into the sunlight, the truth burning cold in my chest. He hadn't just rented a wife. He'd invented one, and I'd lived the fiction without ever reading the fine print. I didn't confront him, not yet. Instead, I went to the bank, the one where he'd set up my allowance account. I asked for the original contract paperwork, the one I'd signed 5 years ago, the one my copies had mysteriously displaced during a renovation. Last year, the banker, a nervous man in a too-tight suit, brought a file. I flipped past the numbers, the allowances, the clauses about public conduct and discretion. There, on the last page, in print so small you'd need a magnifying glass. This agreement constitutes a performance contract for services rendered. Any ceremonial proceedings are theatrical in nature and do not constitute legal union unless separately filed with appropriate authorities by Party A, Julian Carlisle. Party B, Elena Vance, acknowledges that no legal marital status is conferred by this agreement unless explicitly documented in public records. Performance contract, theatrical proceedings, no legal union. I'd been an actress in his play, a highly paid one, but never a wife. The ring, the vows, the shared last name, all set dressing. I thought of the prenup we'd signed, though, one that protected his assets from his wife. It was a decoy, a prop. There was nothing to protect because I was never his $5 million severance. It was in the original contract. Not a gift for services rendered, but a contractual obligation for 5 years of performance. He'd bought my time, my smile, my presence, not my hand in marriage. That had just been the costume. I left the bank, the contract burning in my bag. I knew what I looked like to him now. Not a betrayed wife, a breached contract, an employee who'd discovered she'd been working off the books, and employees who discover accounting errors either get silenced with more money, or fired permanently. I knew which one Julian would choose that night. Julian was hosting a charity gala at the penthouse. 200 of the city's most powerful drinking champagne and pretending to care about causes they'd never touch. I put on the emerald gown he bought me, the one that cost more than my mother's entire medical treatment. I did my hair, applied the red lipstick he said made me look expensive. I looked in the mirror, saw the actress, the prop, the well-dressed phantom wife. Then I went to perform one last time. The party was in full swing when I arrived. Julian stood at the center, holding court. He saw me, gave that practiced smile, extended a hand. Darn, I took it, let him pull me close. Felt the eyes of the room unused, the perfect power couple. The auction began. Julian took the mic, charming the crowd. And now, for our final item. A private dinner with my beautiful wife, Elena. The room left, a playful offering. I was the trophy being auctioned. Dottie looked at me, expecting my gracious smile. Instead, I took the mic from his hand. The room quieted. 5 years ago, I said, my voice clear in the sudden silence, I signed a contract to be Julian's wife, $200,000 a year, a penthouse, a performance. Julian's smile froze. Elena, darling, tonight. I continued, ignoring him. I discovered our marriage certificate was never filed. Our wedding was theater. Our marriage was a business arrangement where I was the only one who didn't read the fine print. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones came out, recorded. There's one clause I did read, I said, looking straight at Julian. The severance, $5 million for 5 years of service. payable upon contract termination. I reached into my clutch, pulled out the bank check he'd given me, held it up. What he paid last night. I tore the check in half, let the pieces flutter to the floor. The thing about buying people, Julian, I said, my voice dropping to just above a whisper, is that you never really own them. You just rent their silence. I handed him the microphone. It was slick with my sweat, or his. For 5 years, you paid me to be your wife, I said, loud enough for every recording phone to catch, but you never could afford the real thing. I turned, walked through the parted crowd, past the stunned faces, past the glittering lies. I didn't look back, didn't take the elevator, took the stairs all 42 flights in, my emerald gown and diamonds. When I hit the street, I kept walking. Left the gown in a charity bin 3 blocks away. Changed into the jeans and sweater I'd stuffed in my oversized bag. The diamond ring went into a sewer grate. A final, glittering sacrifice. I had no marriage certificate, but I had my name back, my life back. My truth. Julian could keep his fiction. I was finally real. And I was worth more than any check he could ever write.